everybody, and thank you for joining us for another webinar. We have a special guest today. I'm talking with McKenzie Wayman. McKenzie is a teacher at Thompson High School, and in the topics that we've been talking about all month, really focusing on mental health for Mental Health Month, and we're talking about all different strategies of dealing with young people and helping young people through the system. So McKenzie, you are an expert in this. You're with our kids each and every day. And
Yes.
let's just say, as a parent who has a child home during all of this, virus scenario, you are more appreciated today than you have ever been before, I know, by many, many parents.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's what I keep hearing.
So tell us just a little bit about yourself and a little bit about, your role at Thompson High School and what you teach and what you do on a daily basis at Thompson.
Okay. So I've been an educator for 8 years. The first 4 of my career, I was at Montevallo High School. These last 4 years, I've been at Thompson High School. I'm a Spanish teacher. So that means that I teach all grade levels. I teach 9th grade through 12th grade. So I get a little bit of every age group in every single class. So I have some freshman boys who may be learning maturity a little bit more than senior boys, and drama with girls at different age. So it makes for an interesting day.
Yeah. So we realize that you have just a different range of kids. You have some from every background, from just about every scenario that you have probably seen this interacting with kids. And so we've talked a lot this month about just the pressures because of the current situation with the virus and the social distancing and all that, and how that's affecting our young people. But take us back, McKenzie, if you can, just on a normal basis. Our kids are facing a lot of stress and anxiety and pressures just on a normal basis, even without all of this added into it.
Right.
What do you see our young people dealing with more so just in a normal everyday life, even without this virus stuff?
Well, Brandon, I think what we as adults need to realize is the academic pressure that we see in a classroom today and in high school today is completely different than the pressure that you and I faced when we were in high school. The amount of students who are, seeking to be high achieving and get as much scholarship money as they can and enroll in advanced placement classes and make the best score they can possibly make on the ACT, it takes a toll. Kids are trying to be the best version of themselves that they can be, but I think it definitely takes some guidance from the adults in their lives to help them manage those stressors.
Sure. So academic pressure, do you still see a lot of like social anxieties for,
Oh, yeah.
Bullying is a key topic that we hear a lot about in school.
Right.
Different things are those things still big stressors for students?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, every single day, our kids are just inundated with notifications from their phone from all social media platforms. And so bullying has kind of taken a different face because, it's all here in our phones as opposed to face-to-face.
Sure.
So there's not really a way to escape it, whereas when we were in school, we could kind of get away or face that person face-to-face. So I think one of, if not the biggest stressor in our kids' life is devices, is the screens, the social media platforms. I had a senior, I asked one time, like, how many notifications do you think you get, like, in an hour? And he pulled up his settings, and he said, in a typical hour, I get about 300 notifications.
300 notifications.
So put that in front of a kid who hasn't been taught, hey, let's take a break from this for a second.
Sure.
Let's put this away. Imagine trying to focus on a test or studying or a homework assignment and having that constantly go off. I mean,
yeah. And not only, I think you mentioned that was really, I think, a key statement you said about, there was a day where we could escape it.
Hmm.
Before we were so connected digitally, you may encounter a lot of these pressures at school and in the social environment, but now
Right.
the social environment follows you everywhere.
Right.
So with the pressures of the social, difficulties, with the educational challenges, all the things that our kids are facing there, what are you seeing in our students as far as the way that they process this? I know that we have a lot of different ways that we see young people dealing with the pressures and stress. Some of these are really harmful to our young people. What are you seeing in the schools and with our kids, the way they're processing these?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I see a lot of vaping, and
Okay.
that's rough.
Yeah.
I don't think adults really know how much our kids are doing it and where
Sure.
they're doing it and how they can get it so easily. Um, and I think it's just another form of escape for kids to
Yeah.
get past these stressors and anxieties and just the overwhelming feeling. They're just searching for some calm.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's a
and
coping mechanism.
it's a coping mechanism. Yeah, it is. It is.
So we've seen that as well, McKenzie, through just through a lot of the different people we ask in the city, dealing with the education system. Teachers, educators tell us that a lot at For Tomorrow, that's what they see is a real challenge with students. So we offer a lot of resources. They can check that out at alabasterfortomorrow.com. A lot of resources, a lot of events that we do that actually focus on that very topic for vaping, because we do realize, in hearing this in our community and even from young people, that it is an issue. What are some of the other things in addition to that? I know, back in the day, there would be a lot of the alcohol and things like that. I think that is still high on our list. Do you see
Yeah.
that a lot with students as well?
I mean, yeah, underage drinking is still there. It is. I think it's just not as easy as vaping is
Okay.
for students to attain. So, but it is. It's still a way that they can cope with the stress that they face every single day. Yeah.
Sure. So it seems like, from what I'm hearing from you, is that you do see in trying to process some of the stress and things that the kids are carrying, that it brings its way out in substance use.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So that you're still seeing that. Do you see any self-harm with young people? I know that there has been times and seasons where there's been trends of self-harm, lashing out, behavioral issues. Do you see students continue some of these trends as well, or has that passed?
No, that's still there. That's still very present. In fact, in the classroom now, when I started as a teacher in 2012 versus where I am now, our kids have completely, the type of student that I mentor and I work with and I teach, completely different. The needs of the kids that I had in 2012 are completely different than 2020, excuse me. So,
Would you say that there are more needs to be met?
oh yes, emotional issues, helping kids process negative emotions in a helpful, healthy way.
Yeah.
Taking kids out in the hallway, helping them breathe to calm themselves down. I mean, these are social emotional skills that every single adult in today's society need to know so that they can help our younger generation.
Wow. I think that's really incredible, because it is important to understand that as we carry pressures as adults, it's magnified on younger people. They're not as emotionally healthy or as stable to carry those things as we should be as adults. It's hard for us even as adults sometimes. And I think that's why some of these coping mechanisms we see that are harmful, substance use is harmful, the lashing out behaviorally, it's harmful. And I think understanding for us on this side of it, understanding from an educator's point of view, is that the needs have risen. They're greater now than
absolutely
they were a few years ago. And I think maybe that's because, maybe kids are struggling in home life situations. Like you said, some of the other pressures culturally have escalated. It's harder for them. So I'm interested in knowing, as a teacher, what do you do to help these kids? Because you are on the front lines of this every day. I mean, you used the word a few moments ago, mentor. And I think that's spot on, because you are a mentor, not just teaching them
Yeah.
tools and things that's going to help them, in their education or their vocation, but in life. So what are some things that you do every day? Because I know that you're reaching out to these kids and you're mentoring them and loving them and helping them. What are some things you do to help teach them?
I think one of the best things you can do as an adult, whether you are a parent or you are an educator, is the conversation that you have with each individual child has to be super intentional. Not just, hey, how's your day? Or how was your day at school? No, like that's too easy. That gives them too easy of an out to say, it was fine, nothing happened.
Yeah.
What is something that happened today that made you happy? What is something that you really struggled with today? What was something that was a challenge? What is something that you loved about your math class today? Be super intentional about the conversations and the questions that you ask, because you're going to get a broader and more deeper picture of what's going on in their teenage world.
That's great. And I think just what you said and what you're doing in the classroom, being intentional, taking time, understanding every student is different. Do you think that that's important to translate that out of the classroom? So if that's what you're doing in the classroom environment, which is so commendable because you have so many students and you're taking that extra time. And I think for us in our community, we need to know that. I think we ought to celebrate that. So I'm so glad you're sharing that so that we get a glimpse of what's happening on a daily basis with our kids. So should we be doing that as well? Should we copy that scenario in the home? Would you encourage parents to do that? Or what would you say to parents to help, their kids cope and be healthier?
So 3 of the things that you can do as a parent that we are strategic in doing as educators is, the first thing, you can have intentional conversations with your children at home. So the easiest way that you can do that is by sitting around a dinner table, because conversation flows a little bit easier when everybody's all together. And so asking those intentional questions like, what was the most challenging aspect of your day, will get you a little bit deeper than just the superficial, did you have a good day today?
Sure.
The second thing that parents can do is teach their children how to manage their time. So whether that is a digital planner or a paper planner, and helping their children kind of map out their week every week, whether that's, things that they have to do with athletics or academics. Those are super important skills that the sooner they learn, the better off they will be, especially in an educational setting and life in general.
Sure.
And then the third thing is, and we all struggle with this even as adults, we need to be very cognizant that in our homes, we have to have forced breaks from screen time.
Yeah.
Our kids don't know that. All our kids know, especially high schoolers, middle schoolers, is the device in front of them at all times. And in fact, once in my classroom with my upper level kids, we would just take 5 minutes, put it completely away, and I would have kids so relaxed that they were just falling asleep, and they would wake up fresh, like ready to go. So I think it's important, as just as it is for them as it is for us, we've got to just put it away and say, no, like, this is the most important right now, not this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. And I encourage everybody to take, because you're hearing it straight from someone on the front lines every day with 30 students at a time in a classroom who is in this setting. And you get a different perspective of our young people than what we do even at home and in other dealings. You get the everyday, the raw, and the real. So McKenzie, thank you so much for taking time to share that with us and to give us a little bit of insight. We appreciate what you do so, so much. You are a hero to our young people.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.